It is I, the Wizard. We have a bonus live stream because there's so much going on. How are you all on this glorious Sunday fun day? Let me know you're here in the chatteroony. The chat should come up on the screen, as small as it is. Blame StreamYard, not me. But yes, as you see, I've done a lot on Julia Wandel, but now Nova Scotia. Buongiorno, blank faces. If at any point you want to come up, blank faces, and join me, then just say so. I've got loads of links to show of everything. I've been at it for days. Get myself at it. Look. How much research do you want to do? Enough. But you know, stuff's coming out all the time. It's just like I can't keep up. But I've been watching this, reading that, and watching this, reading that. I've got a few things all lined up to show you people, and we can sit through some of the news clips. I've got some web pages up that we can read, and it's all going on. And as I was going live, just about to go live, a different YouTube channel popped up, and I was like, oh, I wonder what they're saying, but I ain't got time. It's all coming up. So is it meals? It's a bit like Madeleine McCann. It's like you're hearing, oh, they were abducted, but there's no proof of any abduction. What? Oh, it's so strange. It is strange, but yeah, but the first thing I've got to do, I've got to get something off my bonnet because it bugs me. Right? There's one thing, right? One thing that really bugs me. Well, it's two things, I suppose, but you know, it can go in the same like bubble. Tarot cards and psychics. Two. I'll tell you, when it comes to something as serious as, say, like Madeleine McCann or with Jack and Lilly Sullivan, bearing in mind, Jack was 4, Lilly was 7, 6, or is 6, past tense, bad as a father here. Present tense, that's what we want. 4 and 6 years old. I mean, we're talking, this is serious stuff, obviously. And then we get idiots. I can have my time being an idiot, I know. I take that. Touche. But for any sort of tarot card reader or psychic to jump in and say they can do this, that, and everything else with a certain case, it bugs me. And it bugs me because if tarot card reading or psychics was real, we'd never have an unsolved crime. They'd all be solved, surely. We'd know where Madeleine McCann is. We know who Jack the Ripper is. You know where I'm going with it. But and they'd probably win the lottery every week. So just like stop it. The whole idea of tarot cards, they were invented for entertainment and fun. That's it. Not for financial gain. And to do so and to imply that they're real and all this, that, and everything else is fraudulent. It's that simple, really. But I've noticed we have this person here, Aphrodite. He's done Madeleine McCann, and now he's doing Jack and Lilly. It's ridiculous. He's got 237,000 odd subscribers. You think, fair play, good, do your stuff. But he's making out it's something it's not, and he's going in the fraudulent line of like claiming like, do this, do that, and it's going to help the case or something. And I think even the grandmother, Belinda Gray, commented. And I'm like, you can't be doing this because false hopes, rubbish, lies, you name it. Just no. So I don't know who this bloke is, but it really bugged me when it come up. And I'm looking for stuff, and it comes up saying about tarot card reading. Like, have a word. Just no. Just, it's fraudulent. It's wrong. Ain't got any morals. What do you think? You can't be doing tarot cards in a real sense. about a crime, especially when it involves children, let alone anyone. Hope you all got your coffees, by the way. But you can't, someone like this Aphrodite or whatever it is, you cannot go round saying you're doing tarot cards for a case. It's ridiculous. It just bugs me. So I just had to get that off my chest, so to speak. I mean, come on now. Do you know what I mean? This is serious stuff. Serious. And we've got people like, oh well, what can you say? What can you say? What can you say? What can you do? But we've got a few things coming. We can go through a few things like this. I don't know what you know about the case, if anything. You have to let me know. You have to comment. Let me know, what do you know about the case? And please don't tell me it came from a bloomin' psychic or tarot card reader. But I'll make so many notes, it's ridiculous. It's going to be one of those things where you start eating and sleeping. The whole thing. You just can't let it go. But you may know stuff. But one thing you probably have heard is obviously Lilly 6 and Jack 4. And as much as I've looked, a lot of places are spelling Lilly, Lily, and others Lilly. And I couldn't find an actual, but a lot of the original ones were Lilly, so Lily with 2 L's. I don't want to spell her name wrong, and everywhere I go, like this one's got 1 L, then a different report had 2 L's. I don't want to. Oh, it's really annoying because I didn't want to get it wrong. But you know, what can you do? I've got my headphones in. I don't need them yet. But we've got some news clips and everything. I've got them all lined up to watch as well. Got a few things going on. But like it starts off, it's saying like Lilly 6 and Jack 4, and they live with their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and their stepfather, Daniel Martell, on Gaelic Road in Lounsdown Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia. And that's Canada. I'm sure you knew that. But it says the 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack were reported missing around 10 a.m. And we've got a timeline coming in a minute, so we'll see all that. On May the 2nd this year from their home, which is located approximately 30 kilometres from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. According to their mother, Malaya, she woke that morning to the sound of the children playing in the next room. She briefly fell back asleep, but upon waking again, discovering they were no longer in the house, she immediately called 911. Their stepfather, Daniel, has been deeply involved in the search efforts. He described Lilly and Jack as awesome kids, noting Jack's love for bugs and dinosaurs and how Lilly were fond of girly things, often followed her brother's lead. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister. Family members have raised concern about the possibility of abduction and have urged authorities to expand the search beyond the immediate area to include provincial borders and transportation hubs. Thing is, though, there is literally no evidence of an abduction. There's literally nothing from what we can see or what we've been told, what I've heard, what I've read. So it seems a bit strange that even bringing that up, there's like no evidence of, but Daniel also noted that certain items found during the search, such as clothing and a water bottle, did not belong to either child, because there was an issue with a blanket as well, wasn't there? You may have heard, which we'll probably go into that. Lee and Jack are members of the Sepikni Katik First Nation, which is a tribe, I believe. But in response to the case, Chief Michelle Glasgow publicly questioned the decision not to issue an Amber Alert and called for establishing a national alert system tailored to better respond to such emergencies. because apparently the Amber Alert is missing, isn't it? I don't know why. There's obviously a good reason as to why it wouldn't be done. But here's the timeline for Lilly and Jack. 10 a.m. Lilly and Jack were reported missing from their home. Children were last seen playing in the yard. But I want to know who saw them playing in the yard. Because obviously, if the mother and the stepdad were in and out of sleep and they heard them, etc., playing in the bedroom, like the room opposite, then who actually saw them playing in the yard? Because obviously the mum and dad are in bed. Royal Canadian Mounted Police and emergency responders begin search efforts immediately, deploying ground crews and air support. But yeah, straight away, like playing in the yard. Who saw them playing in the yard? Because the mother never. I don't believe the stepdad did. They said they were asleep. They woke up and they sort of fell asleep again, but they heard them in the room opposite. So who saw them playing in the yard? May the 2nd to the 4th, a massive multi-agency search is launched. Over 160 trained searchers join, including the RCMP, that's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, by the way, volunteer ground search and rescue teams, police dogs, drones, and helicopters. So they literally held nothing back. They've gone full on with it. Infrared technology is used to sweep the forest terrain surrounding the home. The search area expands to approximately 4 square kilometers. So, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, it's been full on. But you think, like, don't forget, we're talking about kids that they're trying to make out. They just, like, say, walked out of the home, the caravan. Then you'd find them somewhere, somehow, doing something, because they wouldn't be hiding. They're kids. They'd be sat somewhere, or, even if they're lost. How far can a child go? And they've got drones and helicopters. May the 5th. RCMP state there is no evidence of foul play or abduction at this time. So they're realistically looking at they walked off, wandered off. Let me know what you think in the comments. An Amber Alert is not issued. A vulnerable persons alert is broadcast locally. The community rallies and support, volunteers, food donation, and logistical support pour in. And that was the 5th of May. The 6th of May. Items are found during the search, including a child's clothing and a water bottle. And I think that's what they're saying. It had nothing to do with Jack or Lilly. The child's stepfather, Daniel, states these items do not belong to Lilly or Jack, raising questions about their origin. The children's family urges the RCMP to expand the search across provincial borders and airports, suggesting a possible abduction. Now, that's because they think they might have walked to the end of the road, and then obviously someone driving past would have seen them and picked them up, which wasn't the school bus. Because did they not speculate they got themselves ready for school and then walked out to the road and waited for the school bus? But why didn't they do that at all that week? Because Monday to Friday, they were not at school at all. So why all of a sudden on a Friday would they have got themselves ready and walked out and waited for a school bus? I don't know. It just doesn't add up, because they would have done that every day and walked themselves. But you're talking 6 and 4 years old here. But they're saying like abducted from the road, possibly waiting for a school bus, which I don't get. If you haven't been to school Monday to Thursday, why was Friday any different? Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. May the 7th, the RCMP announced a scaling back of ground search operations, citing extensive coverage of the terrain and a lack of confirmed sightings. That'd be worrying. And we're talking from the 2nd to the 7th, so it's only been 5 days. Over 6 days, maybe 6 days in. More than 160 trained volunteers participated daily in a large-scale effort that covered roughly 4 square kilometres of dense forest, despite the use of helicopters, drones, infrared imaging, and police dogs. There have been no confirmed sightings of the missing children. Investigation continues, but fewer searchers are deployed. RCMP stated there is no indication of foul play or abduction, so they reiterated from what they said a couple of days before. They believe Lilly and Jack likely wandered away from the home. As a result, an Amber Alert was not issued. Instead, alerts for vulnerable persons were circulated through Pictou County and surrounding areas. Because obviously, Amber Alert is when you think they've been taken by someone. So that's obviously why it's not, because they don't think that. The RCMP emphasises that the case remains open and active. Well, I think so too. It's the 7th of May. They went different. They disappeared on the 2nd, did they not? So, I mean, it seems that they reiterate no foul play or abduction, and they've wandered off. But surely they wandered off. You'll find them sat somewhere. They'll be huddled together, cold, lost, but then the weather wasn't too bad. But they would have been sat there. They would have been found, surely. So I was a bit, I don't know. I may be wrong. You have to let me know what you think. The tribe, obviously, and council issued a statement. And that's basically sort of reiterating, obviously, they need to search, etc. Let's bring up the next. I've got quite a few things to show you today. And this is like literally 4 weeks, already 4 weeks. I mean, how quick does time go? But you'll notice a lot, like even this, it says the stepfather remains hopeful, not the mother. Why not the mother? Because the mother just took off. Don't worry about your kids being anywhere. She took off. I don't get it. Why would any mother within 24, 48 hours think, okay, right, I'm going to go and stay somewhere else? That's crazy. But yeah, so it seems to be the stepfather, Daniel Martel, who's doing more. 4 weeks after 2 children vanished without a trace in rural Nova Scotia, the children's stepfather is still holding on to hope. See, I'm not being funny, but surely that should be the mother. It'd be the mother. See, Lily here has got 2 L's. That's what I'm saying. See, I didn't want to get it wrong. Lily and brother Jack have been missing since May the 2nd, when police received a 911 call from the mother and stepfather when they wandered away. The disappearance sparked an extensive 6-day search through 5.5 square kilometres, so they say now, and 160 people searching with rescue officials, dogs, helicopters and drones. So the effort was scaled back on May the 7th, but subsequent searches have taken place, including ground searches around the children's home on Gaelic Road and underwater searches of bodies of water in the region. On Friday, RCMP said ground search and rescue crews and police will return to the area on the weekend. In a news release, RCMP said they will focus on specific areas around Gaelic Road and the nearby Pipeline Trail where a boot print was previously located. We continue to ask that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. Yes, they had one boot print, that was it. I think that's all they have found, and that's all they had to go on. Daniel, the children's stepfather, has previously told CBC News that 2 boot tracks were found near his home as well as another nearby. The RCMP's major crime unit have been involved since the day after the children were reported missing, and Martel said the disappearance has taken a toll on him and his family. Every day when I wake up, it feels like I'm reliving a nightmare, Martel said in an interview on Friday. And that's 1 month that the 2 kids have been missing. The main feelings of sadness just turns to anger because there's no evidence after 1 month. Exactly, there's no evidence. It seems strange. How can you have, like, I suppose no evidence is evidence in a way, but Martel, like Daniel, has not lost hope. That's all we have at this point, he said. That's the only goal I have is to bring Jack and Lily home. Martel had asked RCMP for a polygraph test earlier in the investigation. He told CBC News he passed that test, so you really can't point fingers at me anymore. RCMP previously declined to say whether a polygraph would be administered. So according to Daniel, he's actually done the polygraph. He's done the lie detector and he's passed. But they're not, they can be manipulated, etc. And you can pass them when indeed you are guilty. It's been known they're not like 100%. So there's no drug party the day before the disappearance, he said. That's absolute nonsense. Because there was talks of them being high and drugs. Whether they're talking cocaine, marijuana, what, I do not know. But Robert Parker, warden of the municipality of the county of Pictou, said there is a feeling of disappointment and sadness in the community. We haven't found one iota, it appears, of what happened to Lily and Jack. See, that in itself, does that not make you ask questions? It's hard to believe that many people look for that long, including search parties from all over this province, and the RCMP have been involved since day one. Lots of others looking and trying, but not one iota that I've heard of anyway, as to hint to where the 2 little ones went. See, that in itself must tell people something. Like, the 2 kids couldn't just float off. They're going to try and make up some sort of alien abduction. They just disappear without a trace. To just vanish or disappear, you'd think it's impossible. You're talking about a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. Parker said residents are feeling anxious and frustrated by the many questions left unanswered 4 weeks later. That's probably an understatement. I know people in their 90s, they told me they can't sleep at night, he said. Those little ones and all the little ones belong to all of us. We all feel like they're part of our family. They're part of the Pictou County family. They're part of the Nova Scotia family. We need to find answers. Obviously they're looking for answers, but without one iota of anything in any shape or form, like they've said, that's going to make it bloomin' hard. But you're talking about kids. Your kids, when they bloomin' walk through your lounge, it's like a bloomin' tornado's gone through there. You're like, the kids have been through here, love. For them to just disappear without a trace. Members of the community have been showing their support for Lily and Jack by placing flowers and stuffed animals on a post outside of the RCMP detachment in Stellarton. RCMP confirmed the siblings were seen in public with family members on the afternoon of May the 1st, one day before the disappearance, based on the details police have gathered. So that's the afternoon of May the 1st, and they were reported missing May the 2nd at 10 a.m. So from the afternoon to the morning, what are we talking there? 24 hours? 36 hours? So it's not a massive window, but it's still a window. I mean, in that time, you know, as a person who, whether you're the mother or the stepfather, had something happen to them, you could easily drive for 3 hours, do what you got to do, drive back for 3 hours. That's only 6 hours out of like 24 to 36 hours. So there's time. There's time to do, should we say. So that's May the 1st afternoon until 10 a.m. on May the 2nd. Motel said police have retrieved surveillance camera footage in New Glasgow that shows himself, the children's mother, which is Malaya Brooks Murray, the couple's 1-year-old baby, Meadow, and Lily and Jack. He said he couldn't say where the footage came from because it might be important to the investigation. So they're on camera, but it doesn't actually say exactly when. See, that you sort of need to know for the window, like the window of opportunity, should we call it. But you can't say where the footage came from, which is strange. Well, surely you could say it's like nearby or off a tree. Because I know a neighbour had a camera up. Police were also asking anyone who has dash cam footage or video along Gaelic Road between 12 p.m. on April the 28th to 12 p.m. on May the 2nd. So you're talking about a window from the 1st to the 2nd, like the afternoon to the morning. But the police want dash cam footage or any type of video from the main road going up, Gaelic Road, from April the 28th. I mean, they didn't go to school. I mean, that seems a bit strange because, like, the window, like you say, is from the May the 1st to May the 2nd, but they want April the 28th. So is it from May the 1st, the window? How does that work? Seems a bit strange. Last week, a resident who lives near where the children went missing said police had collected hours of footage from the 7 trail cameras scattered around her 16-hectare property. Oh, that may be that woman in question. So 7 cameras. But this seems straight April the 28th, when they were seen on May the 1st in the afternoon. Apparently, they received more than 355 tips and interviewed more than 50 people, with more interviews planned. And they said missing person cases are treated as suspicious until our investigation leads us to determine otherwise. Family of the children's mother said they were advised by police not to talk to the media. But again, that seems strange because the mother, being the mother, you'd be all over it, surely. But she's not. Doesn't make sense. But it seems a bit strange that the mother, it's like near enough got absolutely nothing to do with it. I don't get that because one, you wouldn't leave the property, and two, you wouldn't leave the property. It's your kids. You've got 2 kids there. Why would you leave? In this report, the RCMP are looking for more footage of 2 young children who vanished nearly 4 weeks ago, and they're now confirming the siblings were seen in public with family members the day before being reported missing. So why do they need anything from the 28th of April? Lilly and Jack, aged 6 and 4, were reported missing on the May the 2nd. In an update, Wednesday, they confirmed the 2 were observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May the 1st, based on details they've gathered. They later clarified that confirmation was made by video evidence and eyewitnesses' accounts. So again, that's on May the 1st. They go missing on May the 2nd, but they want footage from April the 28th. Got to sort of read between the lines here. Police and investigators have collected hours of video from areas surrounding Lansdowne Station. They go on to, like we said, April the 28th to May the 2nd. That just seems strange to me. Again, 355 tips, in excess of 50 people being interviewed. And police said they are committed to exploring all possibilities when it comes to the case. Well, you have to, obviously. RCMP officers from various teams are fully engaged in finding out what happened to Lilly and Jack, and were using all tools and resources to determine the circumstances of their disappearance. And there's confirmation that once again that the stepdad, Daniel, took the polygraph. He says, I do have the results and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favour, I'll say that. So he's basically saying, like the other report that they passed. He said he's glad police are seeking additional footage and is urging the public to step up and help find the children. And this is interesting. You'll like this bit. Despite not having contact with the child's mother, Mailer, since May the 3rd, when she left the search area, Martel said an RCMP liaison has been assigned to keep them both informed as the investigation progresses. So why is that then? Why is that? Is it because of him that she's done whatever she's done and run, or is it because of herself, her own actions or whatever? But it just seems strange that the mother would leave. Why would any mother leave the home, being they could be found at any possible moment, dead or alive, basically, after a month? But literally, they go missing on the 2nd. On the 3rd, you leave the search area. Was that because you're scared that they're going to be found? I don't get that. I don't get that. Children's disappearance launched a multi-day search. Yep, well, we know 160 people. That's a lot of people. But with no results in any shape or form. Because they had helicopters and drones as well. Apparently, the terrain has been made more difficult by Hurricane Fiona damage. And they scaled back, like it says, on the 7th. Additional searches took place on May the 8th, 9th, 17th and 18th. Any future searches will be determined based on the course of the investigation. So said Canadian Mounted Police on Wednesday. RCMP have maintained there is no evidence Lilly and Jack were abducted. So they walked away. Or you're going to be looking at this like you do the Madeleine McCann case, and you'll be looking at the parents. Surely. They gave a clue and they said no abduction. That's a big statement to make at this early in the game. That's a bit of a thingy there. And that's Halifax Regional Police Officer, retired, and former major crime staff sergeant. But he's not actually working on the case. But yeah, it's quite a statement to say, like, there was no abduction. But, you know, what do you think? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat what you think. Let's get the next... get me your headphones ready. With this, because the former dog handler calls missing kids case strange. Strange is an understatement.
And 8 full days of scouring Lansdowne Station, there's still no sign of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Glenn Brown is having a hard time wrapping his head around that. The retired RCMP dog handler of 26 years says it's baffling to him the children are still missing after such wide-scale searches that included upwards of 160 search and rescue personnel, dogs, helicopters, and drones.
I find it hard to believe that a 6 and 4-year-old would just disappear like that. I guarantee you, if I was still working today, that'd be the thing you'd be racing around your mind all the time. Like, where would they have gone? Like, we have done everything. I think the last thing I read, they searched the square kilometer area, 5 kilometers. That's a big area. And that's meticulously searched.
The children were reported missing from a home on Gairloch Road on May 2nd, sparking a 6-day search that was eventually scaled back. Then, over the weekend, 115 search and rescue crew members were called back. RCMP have not said what prompted them to return, but Brown says it's not unusual to restart a search. He says there are a number of reasons police may call crews back, including tips or new evidence. But if that was the case, that information likely was not known by the search crews or even police officers on the ground.
They may tell them, we got a tip, and we just want you to go in that area and search and see if you find anything. They're not going to tell you exactly what is in the tip. It's not going to do it. They don't even tell their own people that, unless you are in the know, right? Unless it's like you're in that investigative group.
RCMP's major crime unit has been involved since the day after the children disappeared. They say every missing persons investigation is considered suspicious until they have reason to believe otherwise. An RCMP spokesperson would not answer specific questions about this latest search, but says officials will be reviewing the information collected and determining next steps. Ali Thompson, CBC News, Halifax.
There you go. That sort of reiterates, doesn't it? So, got nothing, got a tip. There's definitely more to this than meets the eye. How can it be like everyone's like, there's no evidence. That's people always say there's no such thing as a perfect murder. Yet here we are. And we're struggling to find just one tiny little bit of any type of evidence whatsoever. Strange. Very, very strange.
The search for 2 missing children in Nova Scotia is now in its 3rd week. Nova Scotia RCMP say they are determining their next steps after another ground and air search for 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan took place over the weekend. The siblings went missing from their Lansdowne Station home May 2nd, and police say they have found zero trace of what happened to these two children. For more on where the investigation stands this morning, we're joined from Midland, Ontario by Chris Lewis, CTV public safety analyst and former OPP commissioner. Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll remember the press conference where the police called off a portion of their search for Lilly and Jack on Sunday evening. What could that indicate where this investigation stands as of today?
Well, when they made that call to downscale the search, at that point they made statements that they didn't believe the children would still be alive, which was somewhat concerning because it hadn't been that long at that point. Of course, it has gone much longer now. They are continuing some searching, but it appears that they're weighing more heavily on the investigative side of this, which of course they're not going to really talk about, given the trying to protect the integrity of that investigation. But they seem to be focusing more on that than actually trying to recover the children, which of course I'm sure they still will, because regardless of whether they're alive or dead at this point, it's awful to even say that, they certainly do want to recover the remains of the kids.
You know, people are going back over this timeline, you know, as our police as part of their investigation. Lilly and Jack were first reported missing May the 2nd, and then a nonstop multi-agency search began on the very same day. Then on May 7th, police scaled back that investigation and added that the chances of the children being alive, as you just mentioned, were very low. Then after that, May 17th and 18th, there's this renewed ground and air search of Lansdowne Station. That didn't find any evidence. Tell us what that means about the scope of this investigation. Is it narrowing in on something?
I think what it means really is that the RCMP know more about this than we do, which is totally understandable. The RCMP are good at this sort of thing. I mean, they've been conducting huge searches and conducting major investigations for a long, long time. So we have to rely on them and the fact that they know what they're doing. They're led by their investigation. I'm sure they're following evidence and deciding where to go and what to do based on that, as well as tips and other things that they're receiving. But, you know, the speculation in the community and on social media is just crazy, you know, pointing fingers at all sorts of people, which may have had nothing to do with this. So we really have to let the RCMP continue doing what they do well.
Chris, I want to ask you about that, because people watching this morning have probably read some of those social media posts, and you're right. They, you know, in an information vacuum, I have learned that people begin to fill.
And don't believe everything you see on social media. Never.
It in with their own detective work and their own sleuthing and trying to put together clues on their own. What kind of a challenge does that kind of attention bring to a case like this?
Well, it certainly brings attention to it, and bringing attention to it at times isn't a bad thing, because it may generate some tips from the public. But, you know, it's really a lot of pushing the RCMP into a corner in terms of trying to get them to say X or Y about who they suspect or what they suspect, and that's not fair to them. They just need to be able to do what they do without that sort of pressure on them. At the same time, it's putting pressure on people, because, you know, folks are saying, well, when she said this, when he said that, you know, they're pointing fingers, and it may be towards very innocent people. So in fairness to them and the RCMP, that we just need to back off on that and let things happen.
You know, one of the things, Chris, that comes up as well is the fact that if this story perhaps had happened in a bigger center, one of the major, you know, Montreal, Calgary, Toronto, Vancouver, this would be a story that would be headlines every day. 2 young children disappeared without a trace, a massive investigation, yet it doesn't seem to have that kind of attention here in Canada. Is it because of the smaller community? Like, what would your insight to that be?
Well, I think it would be this because of the smaller community. As we know, the news cycle and the number of news outlets in a place like the Greater area are just, you know, so much bigger and more powerful than the smaller arm in Eastern Canada. So that certainly is part of it. You know, down there, I know, and I know people in Nova Scotia that, I mean, they're very, very touched by this.
Yeah.
But there's a fairly small population there comparatively. So it doesn't seem to be receiving the same amount of interest, which is sad in many, many ways, and in reality in others, I suppose.
Chris, what are you watching for in the next couple days?
It's kids, though. It's
Well,
kids.
I'm waiting for the RCMP to make some sort of an announcement that they've either located the children or they've made an arrest. I mean, they're really looking at the who, what, where, when around all of this and following tips and leads. And I think that big piece of that is a big machine that's happening without us seeing it. And that's the way it should be. But I think we'll hear something from them in the days to come.
Chris Lewis, CTV public safety analyst and former OPP commissioner. Always great to have your insights. Thank you.
You too. Good morning. Take care.
Yeah, you take care too.
Well, what can you take from that? It seems a bit strange that, like we're saying there, but it's kids. How is it not here, there, and absolutely everywhere? You're talking about 2 kids. Well, people are just like resigned to what? The kids' fate is already been at the hands of who? I don't know. But either. You have to let me know what you think in the comments. There are other videos and that we can always have a look at the body language, etc. So let me know if you want to do that in the comments, and I'll do that in another video. Probably do it Monday 8 p.m. actually. It's the next live. Monday 8 p.m. and Thursday 8 p.m. So yeah, we can have a bit of a dive into the parents, see their interviews, etc. And there are links to everything in the comments, with a few other links there as well, which you haven't seen here on this video. But yeah, click there, follow them, see what's going on. Keep yourself up to date if you have interest. But yeah, if you want me to do more, then let me know in the comments. We're probably Monday 8 p.m. We'll probably look at Daniel. Yeah, he's done some interviews. He's done some interviews that are a bit like the choice of words, shall we say? And maybe the mother as well. The fact that she disappeared, that was strange. So what Malia? But yeah, we're looking all that. We're probably looking to that Monday at 8 p.m. So join me live on YouTube for that. And anything else or any other links or anything to do with this case that you want me to look at, let me know in the comments. And like I say at the end of every single video, be wizard, stay wizard. That's the wizard's words.